When I was younger, some teachers said that I had too much creativity. But to the point where every single play I was in, I would steal the show with my classic one-liners, such as, "At this moment, everyone realized this was simply foolish." You see, my life has always been full with teachers saying that creativity was oozing out of me to the point where it became too much. But the truth is, I never really understood that creativity was something that should not be shunned or omitted, but rather used in order to put a sense of responsibility and importance inside students, all the while making sure to show them that they themselves are unique. And one quote just exemplifies this perfectly. A quote by Maya Angelou once stated that you cannot use up creativity, but rather the more you use, the more you have. We can examine this quote in three main points of analysis. First, how we must not only cultivate our own sense of creativity, but also show others how we can use their creativity to better society. Second, how we must be our own judges rather than listening to what others think. And lastly, understand the ways that we can use creativity for the better. Now first, we must look directly into how we can use our own creativity while cultivating it in order to better society. The simple matter is, we ourselves, the human response to seeing success is our own want and our own yearning to be better. The simple fact of the matter is that we try our hardest to climb over someone else, rather than when we get to the top, helping others climb up above us. Frederick Sandel, a world-renowned poet who writes poems that incites a sense of wonder in society, once said that his poetry does not give others the reason to feel hate toward him for being famous and successful, but rather trying to show the ugliness which we retain in our society. We can find that ourselves being ruthless and absolutely selfish is not only hurting society, but painting us as people who could never ask for help. We are here on this earth to help others, in order to better society for our posterity, rather than only helping our own disposition, which seems perfectly into our own point, into my next point. The simple fact is that being ourselves, taking time to understand what we can do, should not be abridged by what other people think of us. There's a book called Doohickey, written by Stephen, who exemplifies this perfectly. A construction worker who was in a fatal crash realized that his art potential was something more than only keeping it to himself, but rather giving it to the world for them to see the true horrors of society. He painted pictures day and night of the beauty of nature, but in the distance, a storm ready to rage and destroy all in its path. And when he showed others his work, they were so amazed by how he drew so eloquently and profoundly that they told him that he would amount to nothing in the art world. They told him that he could not change the way people look at nature and look at themselves. But despite what others said, he took his creativity to the next level. He understood that using his own creativity was not a detriment to himself, but rather allows him to accumulate more. The truth of the matter is, we have to understand the difference between judging others for our own sake and judging others better themselves completely. We must understand that creativity can be used in different ways. Despite our factions in our society, despite the income we have in our own household, despite how small we may seem, our creativity, in order to better our lives and the lives of others, is not limited to what you have, but rather what you want to do. Maya Angelou is a perfect example of what we must do despite her background of poverty. We must understand that our own creativity can make and mold the world into a better place. Growing up as a poor girl, she understood the difference between giving others and judging others good things while giving others blunt anger because they were better off than she was. In fact, she was given away to the point where it felt like she couldn't do anything to better her life and the lives of others. She never conceived how it would become if she took that time to cultivate writing skills in order to show people that a caged bird, someone been thrashed and trashed for so long, can sing a beautiful note to the point where it changes the world. Her creativity was something that made her who she was. And despite what other people said about how she used her words in a way that paints everyone as a bad person, she continued to write for the betterment of herself and the spiritual ascension of others. The truth of the matter is, I never understood how creativity in my own life and better the lives of others. Because teachers always said that I could never amount to anything if I used my brain in such negative and unique ways. But it's time that we come together and use our creativity fully. Instead of making bombs, let's make bomb happiness and excitefulness, where we may look back onto what we can do better. We must stop the wars and instead make peace treaties of the ascension of the human race to the point where we can become a more unified society. Because if it weren't for people who were influential in society, who took the chance and used their creativity for the better, we wouldn't. And if that's the case, why are we here? What is the whole purpose of life if you only choose to be bland and unhelpful? Because the truth is, if we stay back and decide to use our creativity for our own purpose and our own self-conceitedness, we will not do anything but take piece by piece out of society, making sure that life isn't as planned for our posterity. Thank you.